Hey, what's up, you guys? I am Shamika, better known on social media as Dear Shamika. And if you are on my YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And if you are tuned in, comment and also make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be updated on my latest videos. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get straight into it. This is the disconnect where we discuss relationship issues that are facing us in today's society. So, one of the biggest issues that I have saw this week, I actually saw a post and it was posted multiple times. And basically, what the lady was saying was, well, not the lady, but basically, what the post was saying is women have children and are broke and are requiring men to be financially stable. And I've noticed that I see these kind of posts a lot where it's almost like a man versus woman type situation. Is never really a solution to the issue. It's always just problems. Like we just are combative, and it's almost like we're combative for likes and we're combative for attention. So I was just looking at, no solutions being offered. Nobody was saying that these are things that as a society or as a whole that we can do to grow as a collective. It was just more so like men versus women in the comments. And, I really didn't give my opinion on it, but I'm since this is the show, I'll go ahead and give my opinion on how I feel about wanting somebody who's financially stable in a relationship. I feel whether you're a man or a woman, at a certain age, you should want to be financially stable, not necessarily for the person that you're dating initially, but for yourself. Like, it feels good to be able to afford to pay bills and to be able to afford, like, if you're hungry, to go get you something to eat, to be able to not be stressed out because you don't have the money to take care of yourself. So, at the very least, you should be financially stable enough to take care of you. And there are so many people that get mad at people for requiring them to be grown. Like, you don't like, and it all boils down to this, like, outside of sex and monetary gain, what are people dating for? Like, people are just in situations where they're exchanging money and sex. And the money and sex does not necessarily have to go to the gender that we say that it always goes to, because generally when we think of money, we think of a man giving a woman money. Now, if you've watched Baby Boy, like y'all know, I love my little movies. So if you've ever watched Baby Boy, you would know that Jody didn't have a job. Jody did not have a car. Jody was irresponsible. He drove around in this lady's car, collected her resources and her sex. And not only did he get sex and money from her, he was getting it from the other mother of his child. So it's not always a female thing. Sometimes it's a male thing. And I think we got to get out of the mindset of always thinking it's man versus woman. It's you versus you. It's the individual versus the individual. And until you grow as a person and grow as a man or a woman, you will damage everybody you encounter. Period. And you, like, if you're a man or a woman who lacks accountability, you will always shift blame, and it will always be the fault of the man or the woman that you're dating. It will never be your fault. And I think that's a red flag in a lot of situations and relationships, is not hearing somebody who takes accountability. Like, we hear so many people saying that the person that they dated was the problem, but when are you going to acknowledge that sometimes the problem is you? Sometimes you may be the one that's not doing what you need to do within yourself to make a relationship work, or you may not have grown into who you need to be for an effective relationship to take place, because we get so caught up in blaming each other, and it's so easy to shift blame and not be responsible for the damage you caused in other people's lives. That, I mean, it's become normal, and we have to take accountability for causing damage to people, because some of us are the reason that other people are broken, and there's just that on that, whether you be a male or a female. And it's not always a man who's damaging a woman. Sometimes it's a woman who's damaging a man, and then we create this perpetual cycle of hate. But now they done gave us social media where we're able to get likes based upon our opinion, even if if it's not a good opinion, even if it's a divisive opinion. Now, I say it all the time, everybody has an audience, everybody has somebody that's going to listen to them. But the thing about an audience is, what you're saying adding to the solution, or is it adding to the problem? Is it feeding into people growing, or is it taking away from people's growth? And like, all I see nowadays is divisiveness, and people enabling people to be divisive, because what people are saying is going along with what you want to hear. Is not helping the community. It's not helping you as an individual. It's not helping you find a better mate. It's not helping you be a better mate. It's not helping you be a better person. All this doing is telling you what you want to hear, so that you feel good within you doing whatever you want to do. And like I said, like they had that post the other day about, being angry at women for wanting a man to be financially stable. And it, like, the tripping part to me about the post wasn't even saying being financially stable for her. It was saying being financially stable, period. Who doesn't want financial stability? And like, the argument for staying where stuck where you are, it was just pure ignorance to me. And then you got people, sharing the post, and it perpetuates anger. And some of the people sharing the post don't necessarily know why they're angry. It's just, we've been so conditioned to be against each other that we just have misplaced hatred, and we don't want to. At the end of the day, a lot of us do not want to understand each other. A lot of us just want to be able to hate people in peace. So I think that's my plight with the situation, is we're not really growing as a collective. Like, we just learning to hate each other. And also, I was actually watching this news, like it was a news story, and this is kind of me. It's kind of part of the subject, but it's kind of me incorporating real news into what's really going on nowadays. So you get a lot of influencers saying, "Hey, you know, women our age don't want to act right. We're going to go for younger women." And sadly, a lot of people, when they say we're going for younger women, they're not going for younger women in order to marry them and make them wives. They're going for younger women in order to manipulate them. I was actually watching a news story today where this young lady, she's 25 years old, was killed by this man's wife who was twice her age, because he brought the young lady to their house. Like, and the young lady, I don't know what she was thinking, but her mother was stating that she didn't know that he was a married man. So he actually invited this young woman to his, wife's house, or him and his wife's house, and his wife unalived her. So we really have to be mindful that social media is social media, and it's a whole world outside of social media. Like social media gives free range to everybody to speak. We have to learn how to use our brains and use our minds to learn how to think critically and form our own opinion when it comes to not only life but dating as a whole, because social media has really ruined how people think, because you so many of us allow the internet to think for us. Like a lot of us don't even really just know, like if you're not listening to somebody tell you how to think and you log out, you have to know how to think independently of social media. When I'm having a conversation with someone, and I don't waste my words, y'all. When I'm having a conversation with someone, I can tell if they know how to have a real conversation or if they've been heavily influenced by social media, because it's almost like their responses seem programmed. And because they have somebody validating them or stroking their ego, they think that they have it all figured out. But it's all about reflection and introspection, because if you don't know who you are, whether you be a man or woman, and I'm still growing, like I'm not all the way there yet. But as I learn and as I grow, I'm learning I don't know everything, but I'm not gonna let nobody on the internet make a fool out of me for views. And that's exactly what a lot of people are doing. They are telling you what you want to hear in order to get their view. Because the more views they generate, guess what? That's the more money they put in their pockets. And do you really think these people care about helping you grow as an individual? It's more money in being divisive. It's more money in spreading hate. Like preaching to people to be accountable. Some people want to be accountable, but more people don't. So you got to think, if you're telling people work on you, be accountable and all that good stuff, like and like I told y'all, I'm doing the work as well, and it's like really doing the inner work and healing, or working on healing is a very, it's a very ugly process. It's a very, people think like it's beautiful, like it gets beautiful later, but in the beginning is not the most beautiful thing, because when you're working on healing, you're doing it alone, and you're not, you shift blame, you take the blame from everybody else, and you try to figure out like, what do I need to work on to better myself, and so that when I do venture out to um get a mate, or when I do venture out to start dating, that I am presenting myself as the best version of myself, because a lot of us require things that we are not ourselves. A lot of us get mad at people for requiring stuff too, that puts pressure on us for us to become better versions of ourselves. So instead of us saying, these things that this person is requiring of me, whether they be a male or a female, are challenging me to become a better version of myself. We look up videos on YouTube and Facebook, and we look up memes to justify why we want to stay where we are, but why everybody around us needs to change. We model behaviors that we want. So you can't require somebody to be something that you don't reflect within yourself. And the harsh reality, what I've grown to know, like I said previously, a lot of people don't want to grow. They just want to feel like they want to feel right for the moment. And also, a lot of people just want their ego stroked for a moment. You got to think there is a happy endorphins that come from like you can research it. There are endorphins that are released when people like and agree with you. So people get this rush. They don't care about people growing. They just care about being I wouldn't even say being right. They just care about the stroking of an ego. And that experience is short lived, because guess what? You can spend all night debating somebody, but guess what? You're not gonna probably remember all the stuff that you guys discuss the very next day, because our attention spans are extremely short. So even like, let's think about it. When you go on social media, let's think about it. Name three posts that you remember from yesterday that you liked. You probably won't remember the things that you liked yesterday, the three posts that you liked yesterday, unless you actually go on your phone and actually look to see, hey, what, I don't remember what I like. This because everything is designed for the short attention span. So, but when you see all the stuff, um, like if you see the same stuff all the time, saying men are horrible, men are this, men are that, and you're consuming those things on a day-to-day basis, even if it's short-lived, your subconscious is still remembering those things and you still put them in your back pocket. And the more you consume those things, the more your belief system may or may not start to align with those things, which is why I strategically have a positive feed. Like I don't like to see negativity and drama on my feed. So I strategically look at positivity all day and I'm taking it in, even if I don't remember word by word what I'm taking in, my subconscious is still remembering those things. And so we have to get out of the mindset of consumption of negativity all the time in relation to the opposite sex, because that's really what we're doing. You beating a man down or you beating a woman down and then you're expecting them to listen to you. What part of the game is that if I curse you out and then tell you to go get me something to eat, you're less likely to do it because guess what? I just cursed you out. Why am I even asking you to go get me something to eat if I just cursed you out? That's the same thing when you beat down a man or a woman. You can't lead with disrespect and then expect for somebody to do or go in the direction that you want them to go in. So we have to stop leading with disrespect and learn how to have honest conversations without, we say I'm brutally honest, but it does, delivery does matter. So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So you have to be mindful of how you present, how you feel to the opposite sex and why you feel the way you feel, because a lot of us are so broken and the internet is really pushing our brokenness, but we're not really healing. We're just reading things and consuming things that justify the way we feel, and it's kind of like putting a band-aid on a scar and not giving it room to breathe and heal properly. Like you can't just put a band-aid on it. You just can't push subliminal messages disrespecting the opposite sex all day and expect the outcome to be you have a mate who is just top tier. It starts with self, and I wish more of us would focus on, and I had to have somebody tell me a few years ago, and ever since that person told me that I needed to work on me, I have been deliberately working on me. But I think that is the it, like we it's not necessarily just a romantic relationship type thing. It is working on you first. It is learning to block out the internet when you're doing your self work. It is learning that all narratives, whether they be against females, males, whatever the case may be, all narratives are not true. It is learning to unlearn toxic behaviors, whether it be applicable to women or men. Like, and you cannot categorize everyone in the same category. Also, as you do, like I kind of talked about yesterday when I read that post where the guy was like, women who are broke and who have kids wanting a financially stable man. If you I didn't even see anyone say this. I would have loved for a financially stable man to chime in and say, the leader that I am, I would, like I would be able to like lead someone into getting themselves together financially. Because I feel like, and I'm not saying take on a project, but I feel like leaders have the capacity and capability of growing a woman. Like if you're dating a guy who is a real leader, he has the capacity to grow you just as well as the woman has the capacity to grow you. But we're not having growth conversations is the issue. We're still where we still talking about the same stuff we talked about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And everything is about humbling the opposite. Like besides humbling people, like we're not talking about growth. We're not talking about building wealth. We're just talking about humbling a man or a woman, like breaking them down or not. Like, bruh, like, come on now. Like, besides breaking people down a notch, why not try building them up a notch? Like, I don't really hear any conversations about building each other up. It's always about breaking the opposite sex down. And I don't even understand why, but we don't really have too many conversations on building and growing as a collective. And I just feel like there has to be more conversations about there's more to life than just being combative all the time. And you bashing people and being combative, that's only gonna make you unhappy. Like, even though it seems like, oh, it's just the internet. If you're always practicing unhappiness and anger and bitterness, like that's who you are. Even if it's not in comparison to the opposite. Like I think some people take out their frustrations on the opposite sex because it's easy to do so. It's just an easy cop out. It's an easy way for people not to take accountability for their own actions. It's easier to just say that this person hurt me, so I'm gonna take it out on all women, or this person hurt me, so I'm gonna take it out on all men, as opposed to saying, you know what, we both are hitting missing the mark, we're both getting it wrong. What do we need to do as women and men to ensure that we're doing what we need to do to make sure that the other is loved on? Like we are praised more so for showing no love than we are for actually being loving. And in my opinion, that makes no sense. Especially as you start to get older, because a lot of us are not spring chickens anymore. And it's a sad day when the 50-year-olds and 40-year-olds sound like the 20-year-olds, because you've never grown past the mindset of the internet, and you don't even know how to think for yourselves because you've been so programmed by the internet on. And it's almost like, I know y'all remember like in high school, like the popular kids, where you the cool kids who would basically say whatever they, I guess the cool kid, I'll say the unpopular kids, the unpopular kids who always try to fit in with the cool kids. That is what the internet has become. It's become a transference of popularity. It's become a different way for people to still act like they're in high school. It's become a way for people to adopt the mindset of high school children without actually growing up, and also getting that quick fix of confidence or false confidence through likes. Likes are a facade. Like, do you really think people remember liking your video? Like, I've liked so many, and I'll do it to show love to people, to people who are growing a brand and things like that. But honestly, y'all, we're not going to remember every video we liked yesterday. So, like, all this like, we're breaking each other down so that people can validate what we said on the internet, and we're probably not even gonna remember what we said. And that's the tripping part about it. And we're like it's almost like we're being divisive for no reason, just for that instant gratification of quick attention. And so like when I read, like I said, when I read these statuses, when I read these statuses, it throws me off because I'm like, how old are we? Especially when I start looking at the age of the individuals who are so easily influenced by people online. I'm like, you know, learn how to formulate, and that's probably one of the hardest things there is to do, is to have your own opinion in changing circumstances. The internet is a very open world full of people who are extremely opinionated. And we must say your ego is stroked when people agree with you. But just because people agree with you doesn't mean you're right. And it doesn't make what you're saying valid. And it doesn't mean that they're going to benefit from the information you provide, nor does it mean you or they will grow because they agree with you. So I think we have to also realize like a person agreeing with us doesn't mean that we're right. It just means they agree with us. And we have to start letting go of ego, because ego will help keep us in the same spots we in. But I just really feel like, and I know my question that I posed to you guys, and I would love you to comment in the chat. Do you feel like social media impacts how we are acting as a society? I feel like it is. Like I truly feel like social media impacts us in a major way as a society. I feel like it impacts the way we act, it impacts our negative views towards each other, it impacts a lot of things, and also it empowers people to be mean to and take it empowers people to take out their frustrations on the person that hurt them. So it's this man hurt you and you taking it out on everybody on Facebook, or this man hurt you and you taking it out on everybody on TikTok, or this woman hurt you and you taking it out on everybody on Instagram. So we have to definitely learn how to take this misplaced anger and check ourselves for it, because honestly, like I stated before, it's not helping us grow and it's keeping us in the same spots. Now, if you want to stay in the same spot, this conversation is not for you. Just let it go in one ear and out the other. But if you are somebody that's looking to grow as a an individual, make sure that you are actually taking this advice and taking heed to what I'm saying. But I will see you guys next time. I'm running up on my 30-minute mark today. If you have questions, if you want to say hello, I'm here. But other than that, I'm about to get off of here. But if you do feel that social media impacts our dating experience, I would like to know why. If you don't feel like it impacts us, why do you say that? And also, if you ever would like to be on the show, hit me up. If you're wanting to explore different topics, let me know what those topics are. Just inbox me or email me. I'm Dear Shamika on all social media platforms, and I will see you guys later.